seemed a little bit more split, but we'll have to see. The pistol is getting started already fairly quick into the action. It's a very, very fast hit coming in from Kinguin that's working out really well. Pasha does manage to trade one back. It's all onto me.
Go ahead and just chip down a couple of players towards outside and give those pistols a bit of an easier time. That would be absolutely perfect, or else he can just go ahead and rip the head off of Rallen.
Yeah, I think this is the thing. Nuke is a map that kind of does hand itself to the Force buys on that CT side. We are seeing it here. You know, Pasha, as yet to be dealt with, going to go for another peek around here. Does actually miss the first shot, but I think, yeah, Neo comes in from, what, behind and manages to pick up a couple with the P250. This is a little bit of a blunder from Kinguin. Down to Manice and Taz to try and clean things up, it would appear. They're both on relatively low HP, both left on 3 now. Mihu is the only one remaining, but he's recovered an AK. One would have thought this should be easy enough for him. Manages to isolate the first 1v1 against Taz, and Manice still has to retrieve the bomb. Maybe if he can surprise Mihu by coming out of Mini here. He's actually going to move towards the vent, so there's plenty of time for him to go for kind of the long con play and hope to just appear behind Mihu, but honestly, it looks like Mihu is positioning himself relatively well, not making a great deal of sound, but covering off most of the angles.
That may have actually given away his position. I think Maniz, because of that, does have a good idea about where he's located. He puts down the smoke.
I think it's going to be another force-up from Kinguin. Again, not the cleanest of starts in this game. We saw a lot of messy starts yesterday. It seems it's continuing here, but the pistols are overwhelming this A site right now. There's a couple of kills picked up for the CT side, but not a great deal of fighting that they can do. Snatchy is waiting to strike, waiting for the flash to come in. He takes down Ral, and another for Mihu. It's all down to Reitz, who's trying his best but cannot control the spray on the MP9. Snatchy will deal with him and save the round for Virtus Pro. They get a third on the board, but not a great deal of utility for Kinguin. It does appear a very fast outside hit, though. They have kind of heard us a little bit. The exploitation is possible on this outside area because of how weak the hold is. Pasha was ready for Taz, but he's left on very, very low HP indeed, and the Molotov catches him out in no man's land. Reach trying to find the head of Mihu, but not quite able to do so. So into a 4 versus 3, but could certainly swing back into contention with Reitz being so very low.
Yeah, it was actually Neo there who got some good damage in to try and assist Mihu. Mihu this time around then from Hell is at least able to find 1 kill, but the problem is being traded immediately does actually manage to keep that advantage in favor of Team Kinguin for the moment, as well as having quite a lot of control on the map. As we said, of course, they have full control of outside. That means that they do have the option to make their way down through secret if they want to. And also still having some control in towards the lobby. They could try and approach that A-bomb site, but Rallen is going to be dropped. Up close against that MP9, he's not really going to be too heavily favored in the battle. Morel's also going to be able to take down Mouse, and suddenly Reitz with 1 health and that Scout is left to try and clutch it out. And although he does connect that first shot, sadly, Repson, he's going to be aware that the push is coming in this direction. Will he be able to hold it down is the question. They're not actually going to be checking the back box, able to find themselves the triple kill, and holds it down easily. It's all on Rallen. He was left lurking on the other side of the map. And with the bomb miles away, there's not really much that he can do at this point.
The one thing he does have is the fact that they don't know where he is, but with only 20 seconds thereabouts remaining, I think the fact is the round is all but over at this point. It's a question of whether he survives or takes anyone down with him. Finds Snatchy with a bit of an off angle. And I think looking at the position of the VP players and the money that they have, Graft B hit, Mihu already here, ready and waiting on the edge of ramp, in towards control, getting very aggressive indeed, but does manage to drop the bomb at the very least and escape back. Meanwhile, Pasha is the one that falls. Mihu trying to do what he can, but he will go down to Taz. It's a man advantage for the T side. That AK still in play, and M4 recovered for Taz now as well. Things looking a little bit dicey for VP on this retake.
Oh, Taz trying to push into the smoke. He may actually be able to catch these players off guard. You can see neither looking towards this side. The smoke, of course, not really actually a wall, something that Taz can maybe try and bounce from. Rallen able to find 1, should be the trade from Taz. And Mao's been able to find 1 elsewhere, means it is actually going to be Kinguin pulling off
to the next round and make this one work, possibly. Now they're going to know that that AWP is in play as he drops Reitz. But still, this is the type of round, again, looser play style. VP have converted them in the past. And with an AWP in play, it is definitely possible. That's a quick little headshot from Mao. So he looks away at the wrong time, but manages to stay alive as Pasha misses the shot, in fact. and opt to drop back instead of losing that AK, that AWP has to be very, very careful, though. Rylan walks straight past him. The flash, he doesn't hear him. He misses the shot, though. Pasha going to fall. That is such a blunder. Meanwhile, Mihu has picked up Manish, but with these few P250s, I don't really see it happening for VP. Pasha with a couple of opportunities there, you know, players that didn't know he was around or next to, or, you know, he got a nice little bit of timing, and he just completely messes it up.
The first one, at least, was a bit unfortunate because Morel jumped around the corner just as Pasha took the shot, but that second one, sure, he was blinded up, but I feel like the shot definitely should have been connected once he actually spotted him out his position.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bit too much of a reaction shot rather than a thought-out one.
It didn't take his time on it. Maybe he was a little bit scared, perhaps wasn't even sure if he had actually been spotted himself. So it is going to be Kinguin being able to chain themselves a couple of rounds together here, bringing it up to 6, as I said.
When they find themselves losing 5 or 6 rounds in a row and things aren't going so well. Either way, once again, it seems to be a bit of a repeat from the first half, a very quick hit on towards that A site. A little bit more contention this time around from the CT side, although Reitz gets instantly goosed down to 5 HP as soon as he shows himself. Does manage to take down Snatchy, though, regardless. Mao's, meanwhile, is blocked off from a smoke. Going to get loud, but it's a nice little crossfire setup. He does manage to actually drop Morels. Pasha's let this go into a 1 versus 1. Can't quite find the shots. They both have to reload. Backing away from the bomb, though, might just buy enough time to reposition. Mao's going to move in towards that bomb. Flash goes in to blind out Pasha. He walks in so very blind, but the head has not been found. Miles eventually gets it, but there's no time. Pasha recognizes that he had to vie for time, and although the aim might not have been there, the game sense certainly was, and it will be that pistol going the way of Virtus Pro, but again, only just, especially when they go 1 or 2 players down early on. Rylan holding quite a close angle outside. In fact, here's that flash coming in, aware of the fact of what it's for. Double spray down from him. Manish, meanwhile, drops the bomb. I think that should pretty much be game, set, and match at this point. That's a bit of team damage as Mouse walks across, but it's okay. It doesn't really affect him too much in the end. Crack angle being held by Neo, but as Rylan moves back in, it's an easy... Oh, starting to move in through the door. They don't think there's anyone here. Taz is good for 1, but Morels had already crept in behind him to get the immediate trade. Still into a 3-on-2, though, as Rylan finds a bit of a straggler. Bomb going to go down, however. So this is certainly doable. Snatchy on that AWP as well. Can never write him off on that. We don't have a great deal of utility to work with, but there's kits available, so time galore. Morels looks away at the wrong time, but he tries to deal with Reitz. Unfortunately, cannot. It's all into Snatchy 1 versus 3. Misses the second shot. They're encroaching in, and he misses another shot.
Last time these two teams played, it was 16-5 for Kinguin. It seems like VP definitely have some improvement coming in, but is it enough is the question. Already Mani is able to take down Morels with that AWP, pretty quickly bring it into a favorable position for Kinguin. Although VP have been able to advance their way down on towards B, and that's a nice Molotov forcing Mouse out of position. Doesn't actually manage to take him down or anything, but at least gives them a bit of info about where he is. That sound cue, of course, being found. Mihu coming in on the flank. It's Neo to actually find that kill, forced over towards the ramp room. And suddenly with a 3-on-2 now, this bomb should be planted. And things are looking the best they have in quite a while for VP.
Nice little angle from Neo as well to find Taz. So Reit's just going to back away and save. Like I say, they are going to have money to buy up into this one, but it's still, being on that CT side, fairly expensive. So I think they need to get any help that they can with this buy. Maybe an AK retrievable for Reitz, perhaps. Is he going to go for it? Does he prefer the M4?
That'd be risky. I feel like Reitz should probably just save this M4 over, give it to Mouse, of course, who's working with a pretty low economy for himself. He wouldn't be able to get the full investment into the next round. But also, then again, if he can take down 1 more player from VP, that's going to limit their buy into this next round. They won't be able to get all the weapons that they would hope for. He's given a bit of a chance there, but sadly unable to connect his shots. Realizes it is best for him to back off. As you can see now, of course, with 2750, he needs a drop over. It is only Reitz who can actually give that over to him. So it does eventually come in as the save. So an 11th round now for VP. Go ahead and get themselves a little bit of a lifeline and keep themselves in it for now and not allow for Kinguin to reach map point. But as we said, of course, Kinguin, they can manage to get another investment now into this round. They have the option.
Through
It's actually a pretty solid afterplant because Morel's in that position can just try and watch above himself, but Mau's going to be coming down. Quickly finds the first kill on the Snatchy. Morel's now in the corner, his position known. This time going to be changing up his position, trying to work it over towards the ramp. And actually, he may be in for a bit of trouble because Meniz is here with the AWP. A nice little flash going in to force him back off the angle initially. The repeat at least successful for him to take down Mihu, but a trade is returned on. But Kinguin, they'll be happy with that. They're able to get themselves into a 4-on-3, getting themselves a nice little man advantage to work with. And now VP on the back foot to try and work their way back into this round. Sure, they have the ramp control, but where are they going to try and take it from here is really the question.
Yeah, well, that is the difficulty, isn't it, Dean? As soon as you lose a round on the side of VP, Kinguin are already a pretty hefty advantage. That is such a mistake from Maus, though. They kind of lined up for him a little bit there, and he's not able to find anything. This bomb plant going to come in, but certainly easier said than done. It's on the wrong side for Rallen, however. That nade does a great deal of damage. Morel's left on 8 HP. It is definitely doable here. The auto shotgun might be a little bit useless, however, because of the long-range angles, but then again, low HPs. There's kits in play. There's a fair amount of utility to use for the CT side if they do so correctly. Snatchy getting smoked out pretty heavily on the AWP. Reach going to get tagged down slightly. No peeks as yet coming in from any of these T-side players. Not a great deal of time remaining. Neo, the first port of call, is going to fall. The defuse coming in, though. And the kit available for Reach. He's going to get the hold, but he gets taken down by Snatchy. The P250 does it. It's 15-14. Virtus Pro have pulled it back to at least an overtime and possibly the victory. Like you said, Dean, the money is so bad for Kinguin coming into this final round of regulation.
Yeah, that previous force buy was really all risk-reward, high risk, high reward, and sadly they don't manage to find the reward. It's actually not that terrible of a buy. They have 4 rifles, one of them being a FAMAS, 3 M4s, and then a scout onto Meniz, which can at least put in some damage. So it's better than I thought it was going to be, but it's obviously not perfect. They don't have a defuse kit, so if it comes into a position again where they have to try and retake, that's where they're going to be in for a lot of trouble. And VP now just looking confident. They've warmed up. They are going to be coming into this round here looking to try and close it out on Nuke, which of course is the map choice of Kinguin, and it was pretty much a map that I think everyone said Kinguin were going to be able to pick up in this series.
Ooh, scout shot lands. I mean, he's not quite able to get the second shot to land, but at least a little bit of damage done by him and some information gained before he falls. However, the man advantage slips away. Oh, Maus just gets away with jumping down as Mihu had crept in. He's going to have gained a lot of information as well, though, because of the amount of sound that's being made here. This is something he's done so well on this T side recently, is just getting himself into some really sneaky spots. Very quiet, catching players off guard or gaining information due to sound cues. Kinguin perhaps a little bit sloppy with that type of play. As you can see, he just knows how to work around, knows possibly where he could be. Says that there's no one directly on B to his teammates, so perhaps that's where VP's end goal is going to be.
They do need to get a bit of a move on, though, of course. Time could become a bit of an issue, especially with Maus still hiding in towards the back of the bomb site. He gets the timing perfectly to go ahead and take down Mihu. Taz able to find himself a couple of kills up towards the A bomb site alongside with assistance from Reitz and Rallen. And they're
has to find all 5 here. I don't really think it's doable at this point in time. Maybe just an idea. Yes, they've got 16k, you know, or, well, about 10 now. But that AWP is very expensive. Probably just an idea to save.
I like the idea there from Kinguin just to switch things up. I don't think we actually seen them go for any aggressive plays like that. There was the ones when they had the pistols, of course, but with the rifles, it wasn't something they had actually gone for. But Meniz still looking to try and push in off the back of this one. Does end up taking down Snatchy before being dropped by Pasha. And VP go ahead and pick themselves up the opening round of overtime. As we said, though, of course, the money is still sufficient for Kinguin to go ahead and get the full investment in again. They won't have any trouble buying into the following round, even if they do lose this one. But, of course, ideally now Kinguin going to want to go ahead and pick themselves up 2 rounds here on the CT side to try and at least have some form of a lead as they head onto the T side. Otherwise, it could be a little bit difficult. But yeah, the confidence there, I guess, from Kinguin does kind of backfire. I like the idea, as I said, that they tried to switch things up. But VP, they seem to be prepared for it.
Yeah, I think they were sort of in the right place at the right time, not sort of 100% reading into it. But it did seem like Kinguin as well, it was a little bit messy from them. Something that maybe they haven't worked on, but Taz just decided on the fly. Rallen as well going to get taken down early here as his aggression gets punished. Manish trying to answer back, misses the first shot, and does need to be careful as Mihu is playing into him, but that's maybe what they wanted. Mouse was watching it with a bit of an off angle, Mihu not expecting that at all. So it's into a 4-on-4. Pasha's made his way on towards A, takes down Mouse, who is completely unexpected. A lot of, again, sneaky little spots from the VP side. Taz immediately traded by Snatchy, so the man advantage retained by VP here, and the bomb goes down on A. Again, I think it might just be another save situation, or at least it should be another save situation. Perhaps they'll go similar to what they did in the previous round, though, and try and go for it. Manish does need to be careful. He's got very little money. Reitz has a lot of weight on his shoulders. Neo is very ready for him indeed. Pasha going to get dropped, but Neo with the wall bang impact from behind. That is beautifully played by him. Yeah. Really coming alive, especially in overtime.
They pretty much had to go for that there, though. They have enough money to reinvest, of course. Mini is sure he was a little bit lower, but he can drop an M4 over getting up in return. So it was the right idea, in my opinion, for them to actually go for that retake, because it doesn't really make much of a difference coming into this final round of the first half of overtime. But of course, now the problem is VP, they're going to have a lead no matter what heading into the second half of it. And there's like with the executions, and we've seen them kind of be a little bit, as I said earlier on, disgruntled in these pushes.
Indeed. So they know what the issues are. It's just a case of how do you fix it?
Definitely going to be one that upsets Kinguin if they do end up losing this one. Good work by Snatchy being able to find those 2 quick kills over towards the secret position to at least keep a man advantage for VP. Mihu also in a solid spot here as he should be able to catch Maniz off guard. Pretty much a free kill at that point. Spots out a second, but Rallen, he steps it up to go ahead and take one. Can he manage to recover this alongside Taz now, the in-game leader, and what I would say is the star player to try and save the day for Kinguin and keep them alive in this map?
The brains and the brawn of Kinguin working together to try and keep them in it for just another round. Certainly easier said than done. Pasha creeping round, will catch off Rallen, drops the bomb, leaves it all onto Taz in a 1-on-3. Has the element of surprise but gives himself away. Gets dinked down to 5 HP to find 2 more full HP players. I think this is all but over in all honesty, Dean. Neo finishes him off, and it will be Nuke going the way of Virtus Pro. Not what any of us really expected in that kind of a fashion, at least. Kinguin had been performing so well on it in recent memory.